Unless you watch these videos and listen to me talk about it, you wouldn't know what I was thinking. And you just say, hey, that's pretty cool. Cool ramps. 2 circles, nice. So it doesn't really matter that much. Anyway, I think I'll pause a little bit here, remove most of this, so I don't need the 2 dirt circles anymore. I've got half of the ramp complete. I'll leave the other half for now. So excavate some more, and the next things we're gonna do is figure out the lava, the roof, the floor, the lava. I said that already. The roof and the floor. I was thinking just kind of like a dome, and then the same thing in the bottom, a crater. But then I have to figure out where the lava goes. Maybe not a crater. Maybe like a like a stalactites and stalagmites made of lava. Something like that, maybe? That might be interesting. Don't think you can control... don't think you can get stalactites of lava. So I have to figure out where the lava comes from. Maybe from the walls? I don't know. And then, I mean, where it goes is pretty easy. It's gonna pull down the bottom, right? So that's not a problem. Alright, so I have to make a dome. Okay, how high should I make the dome and how low should I make the crater? Let's think about that before I stop recording. I mean, I've dug up to there. You know, if the dome, and how steep should this dome be? Should the dome start lower down? Maybe the dome should start lower down so that, we in fact, hit the ceiling like 2 blocks above this. So imagine if we hit the... well, that is the ceiling. Okay, never mind. What I mean to say is... okay, maybe that, and then we'll fill in the corner there so that it starts there and it comes up here maybe, so that we actually do hit the ceiling right here. Does that make sense? So the dome would, maybe start there. Or even lower than that, if that makes sense. And it'll semicircle up and around there, if that makes sense. And then we hit the ceiling and just cut a hole at the side of the dome there, so we kind of fill in the corner there. So what happens then is you become compressed, like the space is compressed as you walk up the ramp, if that makes sense. So when you're down here, it's quite open. But as you slowly walk up, the ceiling, like the space between the ramp and the ceiling, gets squeezed, right? Tighter and tighter. And then you come here and it's the same thing. If you imagine the dome is just there, so you get kind of squeezed and squeezed and squeezed until the ceiling is just above your head. And then you walk into this corridor and then you open up into a balcony. So can you, do you see what's going on there? So let's just walk all the way. So, from the outside, which is open, you walk up the ramp, and then you're squeezed into a corridor, and then from a corridor it opens up into this interior temple, and then you walk up another ramp, and you're squeezed again into a narrow space, and then, you get squeezed again as you walk up here, and then you go into another corridor, and then when you hit the balcony it opens up again, so you kind of open and close and open and close. So that's the that's the sequence of experiences as you walk through this path. You kind of get open and close, and so on and so forth. So that might be interesting, and in order for that to be powerful, in order for people to really feel that, the open areas need to be really, really open, whereas the squeezed area really need to squeeze down on you, just to highlight the contrast, so that people can really understand and really feel the spaces change in size as you walk through, right? So that's the idea. So then the ceiling is actually quite close to the ramp down here. Well, there at least. The dome can start fairly tight up there. I mean, it's tight when you're up here, but when you're down here, of course, it's fairly high up, so that's not a problem. How deep do I want this? I can make this as deep as I want. It's not like the ceiling. Like obviously, the mountain itself has a height to it. I can't, make this infinitely high. But down, I can go all the way to the bedrock if that's what I want. If I make it really, really deep, it's gonna take me a long time. But I get a lot of cobblestone. It might be really dramatic if this is kind of deep. I mean, it only needs to be so deep that when you're standing here on the edge, you look down, because obviously when you're like this, there are certain angles that you can't see. If you imagine there's a balcony here, the same way there's a balcony here. I mean, unless you jump onto the balcony and look down, which you're not really supposed to, although you can. If you're like this, looking down, like past that angle, you can't see anything anymore. So if it's deep enough to get close to that edge, it will seem deep. Like you're not gonna kind of come here and look straight down like that, if that makes sense. So these balconies and the railings and things, they prevent you from looking down too much. So as long as it's deep compared to the angle at which you can see the space, it's gonna feel deep enough, I think. I think that's how it works. We can test it, of course. Okay, let's make this space more dramatic and make the lava fall a long way before it hits the bottom and forms a pool of lava at the bottom. Which means a lot of excavation for me. Depending on how this goes, I might have to make that a separate set of videos or something, just because I want to upload stuff. Actually, first we'll do the dome at the top. I'm gonna have to build more scaffolding to get up there. So the dome first, and then we'll see how that goes. And then probably the same shape, but inverted for the bottom, and that might be a long way down before we do that. But if we dig deeper, it'll be more epic, of course. I think we deserve something epic here. Yeah, can you imagine it? Can you visualize? It's gonna be pretty good, I think. Alright, I'll see you guys when I've figured out the dome. Probably just dig it out. And, Alright, so I've done a little bit more excavation, and not too much, but I figure I'll show the dome as it is. Oops, don't pull the mouse around too much. So that's the dome. If you remember, I had dug up the cylinder straight up to there, but then I decided to start the dome lower down, so then I have to fill in a bit with dirt. So that's not gonna be, obviously I'm not gonna leave the dirt there. I haven't actually decided what to make the sides of the chamber yet. I'm thinking smooth stone at the moment. I want this to be as though it's just a hole in the mountain, right? So I guess I want the sides to be smooth stone. It's not very interesting, but it's just kind of grey and not interesting. The stone in the real world often is quite interesting. Like if you cut through sedimentary rock, you get layers in the rock, right? And that can be quite beautiful. But in Minecraft, there is none of that, unfortunately. So it's just going to be grey and flat and boring. But that's not a problem, because the main feature, I guess, is the circles and the lava. The lava which we don't have yet. And the lava which I still need to figure out where to put it. So I have a few things to decide, and I haven't quite decided. Oh look, dirt. And I haven't quite decided on a few things. I might have to just test it out and see how it works. The lava. I'm worried that if I start putting lava in the middle, it'll get a little bit too complicated. Like there'll be too many things, and then it won't be as simple and as it just makes things too complicated. Possibly I can have the lava, instead of coming straight down, possibly I can have it channeled back out somehow, so that the main area down here is a bit more open. I don't know if that's a good idea. We need a little balcony here, just so that you can step into the circle just a little bit, and then there'll be stuff inside. So I need to test it out, and I have to test it out with real lava to test the light and see how that looks. So that might be a little bit dangerous, and I think I'll do most of that off screen, just because it's not too interesting. And yeah, stone. Should I just... how should I do this? And then where should the lava come from? If you imagine maybe like little channels coming out of the dome, dropping the lava down. But we have to be careful up here because there's not much space up here. So maybe starting from there, then dropping lava down, and so on. Let's just see what the rings look like. So the domes look like that. I think the dome came out pretty good. I don't know how many of you have tried making domes before and how successful you've been. Basically, I just went... I took the diameter of the circle and just put it down the middle, right? So I dug out that and then across, and then at each layer I just kind of counted how many blocks I needed to dig out and then drew the circle in paint. So just kind of one circle, two circles, the next circle, and then so on and so forth. Based on the line that I cut out in the middle, I counted how many blocks in diameter the next circle needs to be, and then I dug out the circles. And then I've changed it a little bit, cleaned it up a little bit, and then at the end the result is quite good, I think. A good dome. Or as good as you can make them in Minecraft. Yeah, so there's a few things that I need to build. See, I mean, I'm just kind of thinking back to the earlier videos. Like, you spend a lot of time early on thinking and deciding things and marking things out and trying things. But once you get about halfway through building the thing, like, all the decisions have been made, like, you can't really change anything anymore. So, like, the earlier parts is actually quite important. Obviously, the later parts are important as well, but the big decisions that you make early on really define your design, and you can't make those big decisions now. Like, it's too late to change the large shapes now, although I can change the details a little bit. So that's something to keep in mind as you design. Like, you want to be very careful early on to make the right decisions, because that's going to carry through until the end of your project. Alright, so I don't have too much to say. I'm going to have to try out putting lava at the walls, and basically I probably won't show too much of it. Basically I'll just kind of put in a few lines. It'll probably be lava, and then in front of it maybe some iron bars so that the light can come through, but you can't, you don't walk into the lava and burn yourself to death. So lava, iron bars, and then we'll see how it looks. Since there's a door there, and there's going to be a door up there, maybe I'll offset it. So instead of putting it down the middle of the circle, maybe I just kind of put it like there, and there, maybe like there and there. I don't know if that's enough light though. Maybe it has to be more than that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 16 maybe. I don't know how much lava I want to have. So then it'll look like there'll be like vertical lines of glowing orange, I guess, around the outside. And then lines in the middle, so probably 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or maybe offset it so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want to test out the different possibilities. Yeah. And maybe I'll build a little bit and then show you and then change it up a little bit and so on and so forth. Should I build the other ramp first? Maybe I should do that because I don't really need the dirt anymore. And the thing about this is, like, you don't... Sometimes it's good to give yourself time. So I built the dirt ramp, and then I did more excavation, right? And then I built the sandstone ramp, and I've done more excavation. And so the excavation doesn't actually take very much brain power. You just kind of, you're digging away. You don't have to think very much. But what you're doing, or what I'm doing when I do that, is I'm giving myself time to think about the ramp. So I do a bit of thinking, and then I do other stuff. And as I do the other stuff, I'm looking at this, and then deciding whether it's good enough or not. So I look at it, do a bit of digging, maybe I take a break, come back a few hours later, do a bit more digging, look at it again from a different angle. And so as I'm doing that, I'm kind of thinking about whether it's good or not. And so that's why I don't finish everything in one go. That's why I'll build the dirt ramp, and then leave it for a few days, and then come back and build a sandstone ramp, and then leave it for a day or two, and then I'll go and finish the other side of the sandstone ramp. So, if I want to change anything at any point, I can do that without having to rebuild everything over and over again, right? I'm only building half at a time. So that's one strategy that I use, and I think I don't know how other designers work actually, but I think you tend to do that because you're not sure, and designing is all about uncertainty really. Like, you've got a problem you need to solve, you don't know what the solution's going to be, and you're just kind of testing things along the way. You want to give yourself time to think. Like, if you just kind of build everything in one go, you might come up with an idea later on after you've finished, but then you've already finished it and you don't want to change it anymore. So give yourself time to think, and so that if you get an idea, then you're more willing to change it because it's not finished anyway. So now if I want to make some changes, I'm okay with that because I've only built half of it. If I'm demolishing, I'm only demolishing half, right? You see how that works? Anyway, so that's one kind of strategy that you might want to employ as you're designing. So you don't do everything all at once. Like you do a bit of one thing, you do a bit of the other thing, and you come back and do it, just so that you have time to think about each thing in between as you're doing the other thing. I don't know if that makes sense or not. I think some people would do that like automatically without thinking about it, but it's actually a good strategy to just do consciously. Alright, I'll stop talking about this for now, and I'll try out some lava bits. I guess I'll leave the dirt in for now because I'm not sure about the lava yet and where it'll go. Yeah, alright, let's talking more building.